Welcome back to Big Fellas. How you doing, Darren? You all right, mate?
Yeah, good, Mark. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Enjoying the sunny weather. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice at the time of recording, mate. Really nice. Good weather for a game of football.
Yeah. Man v Fat football, maybe.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not come and join us in the Man v Fat leagues? And our guests today, we'll come on to that in a second, but all of us in this podcast today, I believe, are Man v Fat players. And we have a little promotional code to make it a bit cheaper for people. Is that right, Mark?
That's right. So when you go to sign up, if you use the code BIGFELLAS on sign up in the coupon code, you'll get your registration fee for £1. Choose your tenner, but you've got it for £1. How about that, eh?
A £9 saving, mate. It's always good. It's always
Massive.
good.
Absolutely massive. And I'm sure our guests today will be sharing out their league and getting all their players to sign up. So let's welcome them onto the show, shall we? We have a special collaboration episode, we'll call it. Will and Ben from the Football Drop podcast. How you doing, guys? You all right?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for having us on, guys. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. So tell me about the Football Drop. I've got an idea of what it's about from the title, but how long have you been going? What do you talk about other than the standard football? And yeah, what's going on?
Do you want me to go? I'll take it away. Okay, so Football Drop was one of those ideas that we came up with after several pints at our local Wetherspoons, where we thought we were absolutely hilarious and we decided that other people needed to hear us. The feedback maybe not has been exactly the same, but people tend to like it. Just not as funny as we think we are, I think. So that was about, 4 years ago now, Ben?
Yeah, coming up 4 years now. Or just over, actually, just over 4 years. It's been a good laugh. It's been funny. I think our first ever episode we had was an experience and a half. So we bought these microphones, we did our research, we bought webcams. And so I think we was together on that one, actually. But we sorted everything. We thought we was great. We got this recording, not as posh as what we've got here with you guys. We had a really good, what we thought was a really good conversation. Did the rookie error. If we didn't listen back, we thought, it's all good to go. Posted it. And it was silent for 48 minutes. Yeah, completely silent. It was live on Spotify. It was on Apple. It was on everything we possibly could list it on. And it was completely silent.
Yeah.
No, not for a long time.
Brilliant.
I think we'd realised it, but what we do say famously is that actually the content has probably got worse since that first episode.
Brilliant.
Wow. And so you guys, obviously it's a football chat podcast, and Ben, for people who are watching, we'll see you're a gooner. Will, is that right? You're a gooner yourself?
Yeah, the same. Yeah, we tend to talk about all things Premier League. We're gonna be doing a few episodes coming up soon on obviously the Club World Cup that's going on at the moment, but tend to focus on kind of Premier League English football. But yeah, we are both avid gooners. So the conversation does tend to end up talking a little bit about Arsenal. And sometimes we even surprise ourselves that we could be talking about something else and we will always find a way to bring it back to Arsenal.
And as a Norwich fan, every football conversation I probably had with Darren ends up with a turn on Norwich. We'll have something to say and he'll be like, oh, he played for Norwich, he did. You know Harry Kane played for Norwich and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Will's got a few opinions on Norwich as well.
I won't talk.
Mark,
So it's a little bit more diluted now than it has been, but there was a period of time where, as I'm sure you're aware, Norwich were kind of going up and down to the Premier League and the Championship, and I'd made the decision that the Premier League, on behalf of the Premier League, that maybe we should give Norwich a little break from the Premier League because they'd had too many opportunities and failed, so we'd give somebody else a go. But actually what happened was the Premier League didn't do that. Norwich just decided to do that themselves and stay in the Championship for a few seasons.
Yeah. And we'll come back stronger. It's all right. I'm okay with
Of
it.
course.
But yeah.
Of course.
Will they though?
Yeah, of course we will. Got some money now. Delia's sold up and we've got big American investors. So yeah.
Right.
It's coming.
Yeah. I believe it when I see it, mate. I think Wrexham are going to get promoted before you guys.
Not a chance. What do you guys think of
about-
Wrexham, actually? Let's talk about them.
Joe, I'm a bit biased because I think the whole thing is brilliant.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it's a proper Football Manager style story, isn't it? Big rich owners, you big celebs, just chuck a load of money at it. They're doing it the right way, obviously, with the community, or they appear to be anyway. I don't know if anyone's watched the documentary or anything.
To be fair,
You guys watching or listening, I think it's brilliant. I think it's fantastic, and they show all the bad stuff as well as the good stuff. And I think it's really nice, and it highlights everything. And I think it's great that they've gone back to back to back. I think to see them in the Prem would be fantastic. Whether or not they'll make it in the next couple of years or so remains to be seen. But if they're still going to throw money at it, why not?
biggest hurdle for them this season, I think. I mean,
Huge.
you can spend a modest amount of money in the Conference, League 2 and League 1 and do the business, but the Championship, there's people with big budgets in there, and yeah, I think that they're definitely not going up this season. They'll make a fist of it, and if they come mid-table, then that's a massive result for them.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, they're probably still a League One team, aren't they? A mid-table League One team, but they've got good players. They've got that momentum going, and they've got that feel-good factor around the place. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, if they avoid relegation, that's a momentous season. That's absolutely fantastic. I think you'd be any realistic fan surely would be buzzing about that.
I'm going to go further. I reckon they'll do it. I reckon they'll get playoffs, and then I reckon they'll go up. I don't know.
One season straight away.
Yeah, I just got a feeling. I think they'll go big in the summer. And when you say about money, they have a lot of money, don't they? They've got big sponsorship deals, even for Championship level. I don't know. I just got a feeling that it's not going to stop.
Is that a problem though in football? So I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? It's like a catch 22 where you've got obviously the last couple of seasons, the sort of teams that have come up have gone back down again. And is that Wrexham then trying to break that mould where they're good enough because they can compete financially? But then is there an issue with that because that means that you need a big investment in to make it in to the Premier League? I know there's exceptions to that rules in terms of Bournemouth and Brentford who haven't broken the bank as such, but they've still spent a lot of money. But I don't know. For me, there's a little bit like there's something wrong because of that.
Yeah, I see that. I guess the one thing that's different is that it seems they've got a couple of celebrities that have built this community online, and they've got fans all over the world. So they've brought attention to it. It's not like it's an Arab sheikh who's just brought a country's wealth over and said, there you go, there's a blank check, go and win the Champions League. I mean, there's, I don't know, there is something a bit more romantic about it, I'd say.
I do agree.
But
money's always been the key to football, and like since Roman Abramovich bought Chelsea, really, even before that, I think he was the first billionaire that really sort of was the face of it all. And I actually have quite a lot of respect for Newcastle at the moment because they're obviously extremely wealthy owners, and they seem to be doing it well as well. I think building it up in the right way, bringing a good manager. They've got some good players come in. And they're not just splashing at cash, are they? I know you got the FIFA Fair Play. No, I know, but I don't know. I just feel like City got around it a little bit. I know it might bite them in the
they
arse,
did it before there was any rules in place to get away with it, basically.
Well, breached 115 of them, didn't they?
Yeah. Talking about them, do you guys know any more on that? Being a football podcast?
We're always moaning about it pretty much every week. It's just been swept under the carpet.
Yeah.
There's still court rulings. They're going through things, aren't they? Last time I saw. I think the decision's expected to be, September, October.
It was like January.
I think it was supposed to be about 2 years ago originally. And then they had all these like counterclaims. There's this and that and the other. And, we're going to be bitter as Arsenal fans because without City, we would have won a couple of titles. So it's a little difficult it's a hard pill to swallow from that side.
Yeah.
But I agree with you from the Newcastle thing. But I know Will and I, we've had the conversations on our pod a lot of times. Newcastle have spent a fair bit of money, though. It just goes under the radar a little bit. Isak was a lot of money. Guimaraes was quite a bit of money. They're big players. Gordon, how much did Gordon go for? 50 million, I think, or something? So it's not small amounts of money, but relative to these big transfers, like Florian Wirtz to Liverpool, 16 million or something he's going for. It is a drop in the ocean. Yeah, exactly. Like Caicedo, was it 115? Declan Rice was 105. these are big money, but 60, 70 million, that's still a lot of money. Yeah, just comparatively, it seems so much sort of dampened down, I guess. So you don't really notice it as much.
It gets dwarfed, doesn't it? And they get around it. So, like Chelsea, as an example, sold their women's team to kind of themselves and managed to make money. So actually, now Chelsea have got the most money to spend in terms of PSR rules this summer, after spending $1 billion over the last sort of two or three transfer windows, which is absolutely insane. But going back to Man City, I think it is sort of this sort of autumn, but that's 115 charges that they've been brought against. But when you've got that much financial power that they have, you can then afford the best lawyers, and then, as Ben said, you can counterclaim, and you can then divert the attention over here and divert the attention over there, and kind of try and sway the lawyers into different sort of avenues. But in a sense, the Premier League can't really compete with that. So they're kind of just following these different leads down different and getting distracted away from this. What has actually happened? Did they break the rules or not?
Yeah.
If they're found guilty, then what would you guys like to see? What sort of level of punishment do you think is sort of fit? Because like I'm a Liverpool fan, and like I don't want to win a league 4 years later by default. I just think there's no fun in that. There's no point.
It happened in Serie A, didn't it, with Juve? They got relegated, and then Inter Milan got all of these sort of Serie A medals, and nothing really happened, did it? And I don't know who would sort of come off. I can't remember who came second in those years, but yeah, who really wants to win that? But I think they're talking about sort of a dock of points, aren't they, for each of those? And if you think about what Everton and Nottingham Forest got a couple of seasons ago for one or two charges, in theory, because of that, there should be relegation on the cards for City, in a similar vein to how Juventus got charged all those years ago. So it's hard to say, but what's fair? If Everton and Forest are being charged, then surely City should face the same sort of sanctions if they're found guilty.
You think so, wouldn't you? But I think there's different levels of charge as well. Some of them are like little minor misdemeanors, which have been sort of clubbed into it, which makes it all a bit murky. They just need to make a decision and be done with it, and everyone knows where they stand in that. But it is kind of it's dragging on a bit. There was a Padding Power video I saw a couple of weeks ago. It was a Premier League just say, well, that concludes the season. And then the legal person comes and goes, we've still got these 115 charges. And everyone in the room goes, oh.
I saw that exact one. And it feels like it is very much like that.
Yeah.
For me, I think they should be taken back down to the bottom tier and go up again. Because they've just made a mockery of the whole system. And the fact that the Premier League, the FA and UEFA, to a certain extent, have had to change their rules on financial fair play and things like that, pretty much because of Man City, you're going against the grain and the principle of football. Now, and that's not just it's mostly a bitter Arsenal fan, but, I think there's an element of, as Will said, Everton got docked points for tiny amounts comparatively. So they need to face punishment. If they get docked 30 points, they're still coming in top 6, top 8.
We would, wouldn't they? That's the mad thing.
They'd still get into Europe. Exactly, because they are that good.
Yeah.
And they've spent loads of money again this summer and in January, because they probably know they're going to get docked points. And it doesn't matter, because they've got the players to win 20, 25 games on the bounce.
Again, the worst thing I think that can happen is they get a big fine. Imagine that they get a multi-million-pound fine, and it's just like...
Yeah, there you go. There's a check. Thank you very much. It means nothing to them,
No, exactly. Yeah, it leads us on to... I was going to talk about Man City and Chelsea playing in the Club World Cup. And first, what's your thoughts on the Club World Cup?
We're contrasting, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand it that much.
See the point of it.
To be honest with you, it's just money. It's just for FIFA to say, "Hey, look at us, we've got loads of money." Because I think the winning gets 100 million or something.
Yeah, that's right.
What an insane amount of money!
But what's that channel? DAZN.
Yeah,
the Zone. Yeah,
the Zone, DAZN or something. Yeah,
yeah. Didn't they pay like £1 billion for the rights to it?
Yeah, but they were the only people bidding for it.
I'd have gone in lower.
They could have bid like £1, and they'd be like, "Oh, go on, then, lads, yeah, we'll have to take it." But it's like, why would you start $1 billion?
Offered £1 for it, and it got rejected.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they actually did.
Mate, we should have created it on Big Fella's channel. We could have been running that. We could have been showing the games live on YouTube. No,
I would
but
have watched it. I would have tuned in, lads.
you'd have subscribed. But it's crazy because this my son's a Man City fan. I don't know why. Don't ask. But he's he's only 10. And he loves City, and he's buzzing because I said to him, "Oh, you can watch it on there for free." And he's like, "Oh, brilliant!" But I don't understand how they can spend £1 billion on the rights for it and then just give it away. But yeah, and I think the only people who are remotely
There was some kind of deal with the Saudi government, I think, or something like that. I can't say too much or exactly what it was, but there was something a bit odd about the whole arrangement, shall we say?
But the only people that seem interested in it, to be fair, I mean, I feel in a weird way, I just like the fact that in the outer season that we're getting some football to watch. I'm quite happy from that side of it. I know you've got the under-21s and stuff going on at the moment and stuff as well, but I quite like that. But I think the only people who genuinely have any interest in it really are the fans of the clubs playing, I suppose. And it's a bit weird how it's been picked.
I'm really enjoying it. So I've got a bit of a love for the sort of Brazilian football. Watching those clubs, so it's quite nice to see them playing against some of those sort of European teams going up against almost the big guns. And I think you don't really see that often. There's a few, like obviously the Bayern game against Auckland the other day was a bit awkward, but yeah, I mean, other than that, I think as it goes on through the sort of latter stages of the tournament, I think it's going to be some really good football played. Ultimately, it's going to be European clubs, I think, that will be in sort of the semi-final, final sort of stages, but you might get a surprise come through. So for that, I really like it. And I like that the Zone are putting it on for free and it's on Channel 5 as well. So I just think it's been really great to watch some football, as you say, in that sort of pre-season, sort of end of the season time when you all start to miss football. I think it will get bigger. I think there's no doubt about it that this will be a hit that people start to look forward to, especially with that 100 million at the end of it.
I think as well, the tournament will progress and it will build momentum, won't it? And like I said, when the top European sides are in the quarters, semis, final, yeah, all of a sudden there'll be eyes on it. But at the minute, I thought the Bayern Auckland game was just made a mockery of the whole thing, and I'm just like, I loved the quote from the goalkeeper. I don't know if you've seen this quote, but basically he's had to take annual leave. He's had to take leave unpaid. He's a forklift driver, I think, in a warehouse. That's his job. And then it was like, yeah, I'm going to be behind on my bills and my rent and everything, but the chance to play against Bayern, Boca Juniors, and Benfica, can't say no to that.
No, I do get it. It's a great experience. I think the premise of the Club World Cup makes sense, but I think it's just the way it's all been announced and like the way you qualify. Like, what are Inter Miami doing there? They've been a club for about 6 months, and they were invited to join this massive competition. You just think something just doesn't sit right. Like, you understand how, like, Auckland, for example, they're top in their sort of federation and things. They've done well, so that's the qualification. I understand that, but Inter Miami, they haven't done anything. They won an MLS Cup, but Messi's there and David Beckham owns it. So it makes sense to have it on because you get the attention.
Yeah.
So I sort of get it, but there's just no fairness about it. I think that's my big beef with it, I suppose.
Yeah.
I saw today
hosting the first one in the wrong continent as well, in my opinion. Like, if you want to, it's not. Let's be honest, North America's not a big. I know it's growing, but it's not a big footballing area, is it? Yeah, I'd have probably started it in one of the European countries or even South America, where football is a lot bigger. I think that would have been better.
Place the Confederations Cup then? Like, what's happened to that? Usually that was a year out from the World Cup, wasn't it? It'd always be the year before the World Cup. That was kind of like the dry run. It seems to have disappeared, doesn't it?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I have nothing. I've got nothing for that whatsoever.
Well, the last one was, to be fair, but yeah, that was always a thing, wasn't it? The Confederations Cup. But yeah, obviously England never played in it because we never won the tournament. But
I tell you what else we forgot, Mark, is that we're actually a weight loss podcast. We should probably talk about Man v Fat or some sort of weight loss subject. You guys both on Man v Fat at the moment, then, are you? Whereabouts are you playing?
We're playing at Man v Fat Margate. So we've been there for probably about a year now, and Margate actually has expanded quite a bit. So it's got 2 leagues now, an A and a B, 16 teams. So they thought they'd make 2 leagues out of it. So Yeah, it's going pretty well.
Are you on the same team or opposite?
Yeah, Ben's in goal, so it's always really helpful to have a goalkeeper on your team.
Everyone picks you. It's brilliant. When you do the reshuffle, who do you want to be with? I had 3 people choose me. I've never felt more popular in my life. But where we joined the club, we was a brand new team as like an additional team to the league. So we were quite fortunate. So there was about 3 or 4 of us in our little friendship group that managed to obviously be part of this new team. Then when we did the reshuffle in January, we was all really sad and was like, look, we'll be really sad if we're not together. So we all have to hold hands and be best friends. So we've managed to do that. And then we brought another couple of friends along as well. So I think there's 6 of us now in our little friendship group out of 9 people, which is brilliant. But yeah, but it's going well so far. We've had some good progress. A couple of league wins as well.
How are you doing in the league?
So we've just finished our 3rd season. We've just won the Scales League, didn't we, our team?
Oh, well done.
We did. Yeah, I got captain's choice. I don't know if I've mentioned that just yet, but I might mention it a couple more times.
Perfectly so. As much as we will take the mick, Will's had a really good season. He's lost pretty much every week. His performance on the pitch has been significantly better as well. He's got a lot fitter. He's scoring more goals as well. So it's one of those, when you see that progress happening, it encourages you a little bit more, despite what might be happening off the pitch and stuff. But to be fair to Will, I don't normally like blowing smoke up his bum too much, but he's done really, really well. And it's, as a team, it really does help support you. I think we've been very fortunate that our sort of group chats, I don't know if you guys are the same in yours, everyone, you don't always chat every day and things, but when someone's having a hard time, you can just drop a message like, lads, I'm really struggling here. Any tips, any advice? What's everyone up to? And everyone sort of bands in together. Personally, I found it's been a big help at times when I've personally struggled a lot.
Definitely, I'd agree with that. That's probably a good way to describe our group. Day to day, there's not a huge amount, but sort of like, I don't know, the days before running up to it, think, oh, I'm probably going to struggle this week, or I'm weighing a bit high, and then someone will say, well, try this, and have you thought about this? It's good for that.
Right.
And then obviously the morning after, or whenever the aggregate scores come in, that's when the group really does pop off.
Yeah.
Is that the same for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of like aggro, and then normally what you find as well is you'll get Ben like message me like, oh, we would have won that if this person hadn't have done this or something. But no, genuinely, it is really supportive. And what I've always found about football is that, like, because we play on a Monday night, so I could have had a really, really shit day at work and it's been a bit stressful and a bit mad, or the weekend's been a bit crap and whatever. And then you just think that Monday night I've got a bit of time beforehand for weigh-in with my friends where we can have a bit of a laugh, have a little bit of a warm-up beforehand, and then you're on the pitch and you just forget about everything. You're just focused on, have I done well this week in terms of weight loss? Am I going to get like a bit of a bonus from a hat trick or a percentage or whatever it is? And then you just go off and play and you forget about life for sort of 30, 40 minutes. Yeah, it is really good. It's really good fun. And there's definitely that support there.
What's your team name?
We're L'Argentina. So we were the Sky Blues. So L'Argentina.
Very
What's
nice.
yours, guys?
I'm currently turning out for Wolverhampton Wanderers because we're the orange team.
I love that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm off at the moment because I broke my wrist, but I probably be back in the next 3 or 4 weeks. I was Bayern Munchies.
Jeez.
Yeah, Bayern Munchies. They were a good team, to be fair. I don't know how they're doing now without me, Mark.
We need better.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, that's about right. They're a good team in Peterborough, to be fair.
Yeah.
Do you play in goal, Darren, by the sounds of it?
No.
The keeper. But
I
yeah.
like defence.
Okay.
Mark's the keeper. You sort of put him there because we got to put him somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Same for Ben. He keeps saying to me, I'm going to come out on pitch. And we're like, no. 1, you're actually quite good in goal. And 2, we've seen you try and kick the ball. Like his distribution at times from goal is awful. I see it in his eyes. I can see someone making a run and I think there's no way you're going to make that pass, Ben. But he tries it every time. And every time it hits like the first player or something.
But the problem is, when there's a wonder ball that works, I stared Will down like he's the worst person in the world because he hasn't made that run. And in my head, I can't fathom why for the 57th time in a row, he's not made that same run, knowing that it might get to him one day. I get so angry about it because you're so fixated on trying to win the game. And obviously, as a goalie, you see everything. You get so frustrated
Have
about
the vision,
it.
don't you?
Absolutely, I have the vision. I've just got zero ability to actually deliver what I
Can't
want
get
to
it from
deliver.
here down to my foot. It just takes too long. I mean, I try.
Exactly.
In my head, I'm playing an absolute wonder pass, which is going to land on a 50p piece.
Exactly.
But-
It's Beckham-esque normally. That's
Yes.
that's happening. And I'm like, I know Will, he's just going to take it down, Zlatan touch, bang, top bins. No, what happens is it goes in the corner or it goes straight to the goalie. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, right.
Yeah,
Reset, lads.
But basically, that sounds much. I think we said it on the last episode. I played in goal on my first ever Man v Fat, and this was in 2018. I hadn't played football for years at this point. And they said, "Oh yeah, there's mix of abilities, but like I said, you should be fine." And I get there, and there's one guy who's miles better than everyone else. The game kicks off. He runs around about 4 players within the first 10 seconds, and then smashes it past me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, shit, I'm even out of my depth at Man v Fat. Where do I go from here?
I'm pretty sure every club has the same thing. So there's a team that we've played against this season too. So there's a guy called Sam. Now he's just got a rocket of a left and a right foot, but he will score from anywhere on the pitch. And we was having such a good game. We were, as a team, we all did really well. I think we went 1-0 up or something. They scored a couple of goals. It was like, okay, don't worry. Heads up, lads, second half. He scored 3 goals in just over 2 minutes against me. He just corner every time. I just thought, I can't do anything. And to be fair, the team are just like, Ben, it's not you. Like, he's just that good. You just have to, I'm just like, I don't want to talk to you. Don't talk to me. Like, I just hope we beat you off the pitch and the scales. And that's the beauty of Man v Fat, isn't it? You can get spanked 7-0 or whatever and still win 10-8 or something like that overall.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's
the most
great when it
satisfying wins,
happens.
aren't they?
Honestly, it's fantastic. We had it on our first season. Our first 5 games, we lost on the pitch every single time. We were a new team, but we won every game because we smashed it off the pitch. And obviously, when that was our first season, I'm just sitting there scratching my head like, how on earth have we done that? I was like, how have we scored that? And then obviously you work it out properly, and obviously they give you the guides and your hat tricks, your milestones, team, and your tracking. You think, oh, this could be quite easy. Yeah, this is all right. I can do this. And obviously you gel as a team, and you get better and better as you go. And obviously the weight drops, and then the fitness level increases.
Yeah.
And, and as Will said, you have fun doing it, and it's a good laugh for half hour, 40 minutes.
It's amazing how accountable it keeps you as well, because it's now not just you relying on your weight, is it? And like, we know it's only a football game, don't we? We know it's not like the be all and end all, but fuck me, you don't want to be the one letting the lad down, do you? It's
honestly, I've been guilty of it a couple of times this season where I've put on a bit of weight, and I do take it to heart. I know it's my fault, and I'm almost shocked on a Monday when I'm up. And I'm like, I can't believe it. I've had 4 pizzas this week. How am I up? Like, it's ridiculous. But then on a Monday, if I'm like close to being up and I think, I might be able to drop a little bit, the extremes I do, and I think, I know it's not healthy. But
Honestly.
every week, I've done it 3-4 weeks in a row, and I thought, why am I doing this? I just need to just rein it in during the week, just that little bit more, and I'll be okay.
We had this little catchphrase, didn't we? Where like, Ben, like, if what you're doing currently is 6 off, 1 on. Where Monday, like, he won't eat a single thing. He'll have like a 40-degree bath to sweat like all of these fluids out and stuff. I'm like, right, you need to make a change. And then like the next Monday, we'll have the same thing where he's doing the same thing again. So there's like certain little things that you think, right, this just isn't right. And, Ben's he's had a bit of a tough time off the pitch. So I understand that. And that's where like your friends come in and your group chat comes in to be like, right, how are we doing? And that accountability. And one thing that I've found that they kind of make you do, and you hear a couple of the lads around, I hope I'm not like grassing people up, but I think it's probably well known, but around sort of like Man v Fat, like just before people head into the changing rooms, they start putting in like their tracking for the week. And I actually have come to like this thing where I do it like where I'll eat something and then I don't feel like I can move on from my meal without starting to track it. I feel like I just have to do it like there and then. Otherwise I might forget and miss a calorie. And tracking for me has just been like the biggest help. So if you are kind of fudging it a little bit just to get those extra points, it's definitely worth it to lose that weight.
When you actually do the tracking, it does make such a difference. And I mean, I've been guilty of that plenty of times where I've literally just sat in the car park and munching on first bit of food for the day and then just making stuff up. I'll hold my hands up and say I've done that just to get the tracking point. But if you actually do it properly, you'll be amazed at how well it works for you. I mean, it I understand the gamification of it, and you need getting those points. And I almost think missing tracking goals is more frustrating than an own goal. You can forgive an own goal, but there's no excuse for nobody not tracking. Do you know what I mean?
100% agree. I think the tracking for me, I've been the same as you, Mark. Like, I forgot it sometimes. I think, oh, what did I have that day? But talking to Will about it, and having these open conversations with your teammates and your friends and stuff, you realise just how calorific some things are. So when you're in, you think, oh, I'm a little bit peckish. So you grab a bag of crisps, or you grab this, you make a sandwich or whatever. Not make a sandwich, it could be 500-600 calories. And you think, Christ, how's that? Because you've had white bread instead of wholemeal, or even 50-50, or you've had full fat butter instead of like reduced fat, reduced salt or something. Making those slight tweaks does make a huge difference. If you can get into that regularly, like Will, you've been cutting out dairy at the moment to see how you feel, like how your body feels and stuff. And it's testing different things, I think. It does make such a difference. But it's that education piece and that awareness piece, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It also makes you realise as well how few calories healthier food is, and how hard it is actually to eat, say, 2,000 calories a day when you're really eating like good quality food. It's quite filling, isn't it? Yeah, I'll be honest, this is really bad, but I used to have a screenshot of MyFitnessPal, and I used to use the same screenshot every week for my tracking. But it became an issue in the end because it was so far down my album that I ended up just yeah.
Is it like the Man City Chargers here? We may have to go and review this and have points deducted.
Well, we come second in the league if you're the orange team in Peterborough. But yeah.
Darren.
Yeah.
Let me guess, that bit won't make the edit, will it, lads? Just cut that bit out.
If I was editing, it would, but yes.
Yeah. No, that's going to be cut out. That. Sorry, Sean, the coach there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest.
Move along.
I'm going to be honest. That weren't my screenshot. That was shared around from one of the other lads.
It's even worse.
Do you know what? I don't want to route your coaching, but if your coach is noticing that like 25 lads are using the same screenshot here and not even checking and scrolling, he's got a problem.
Yeah. Quite laid
Sorry
back.
to call him out, but yeah.
It's quite laid back. But yeah. But you're right, though. In fairness, that Man v Fat put it in place, right? And it's down to us how much we do it. But I think that tracking is really powerful, and that's definitely something that I need to get back onto properly, not just with screenshots. Get back onto it and do it. So yeah, it's amazing how much you can eat if you're eating well. And the dairy thing I find interesting because when I was when I hit about 30, I went on a real fitness thing, did really well, and I cut out dairy and bread, the two things that I cut out altogether, and it was really interesting. My gym coach used to say, "Well, what's the purpose of milk, like dairy milk?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" And he's like, "It's literally produced to make a cow grow. To grow a cow. It's just full of stuff." For that, but that's essentially the purpose of it. So why are we drinking it? Yeah, and but it's strange how when you go off it for a few weeks, it becomes a lot easier. You don't really miss it that much. What have you found that, Will?
So I've only actually been doing it for this week, but I did like an allergen thing where I took like samples of my hair, sent it off, and they sent back like what's going to affect your body like in a bad way. So you get like a traffic light system that's green, yellow, and red. But so all dairy for me was complete red, and I'm like a big cheese. I love like milky coffee and all that sort of stuff. And I noticed I was feeling a bit bloated. I was also with tracking, I started to get interested in like how much protein I was having, how much carbohydrates, how much fat I was having. And I was noticing that I had quite a lot of fat in my diet, and some fat is obviously good fat, but I was having a lot. So like normally you're meant to have about sort of say 50% carbohydrates. I was having like 50% fat. So I thought, right, I need to cut this down. Butter went straight out. But this week I've decided that actually go back to 2023 when I did this allergen thing and get rid of dairy. So I've been having like almond milk and having no butter. So like sandwiches have just been a bit plain or with a bit of mayo, a bit of mustard or something like that. But I've noticed that the calories have come right down. And I have started to notice actually today, I feel a lot less bloated as well. And what I want to do is, so you're talking about when you were sort of when I was 30, I had exactly the same thing, but I did the keto diet. And I found that just really worked for me. So yeah, carbs is one that I'm not too sure, but I think I might try and cut down on my bread intake as well.
I think keto is fantastic. We've had some really good losers on with keto, but for me, it's just hard to keep to. Like to really cut them out altogether is really hard. I'll tell you the other thing that I actually am a real big fan of is coconut milk, especially with like tea and coffee. So
Yeah.
I'll normally have coffee white one. So that's kind of like my go-to coffee. But now I've started going for coffee with coconut milk. So it's quite sweet naturally. So, you know, so actually I'm really into that in a minute, and it's a great way of cutting out that sugar every time you have a cup of coffee and that bit of milk, I suppose. Like you say, calories.
Yeah, fair play. And so what else have you guys been doing is to sort of age your weight? Sorry, let's go back a bit. How much weight have you guys lost? We've not even asked that question, which is kind of important on a weight loss podcast.
So since we joined, I've lost, I think, 16 kilos.
Yeah, I've done 19.
Decent. Yeah, you've done really well.
19 kilo, yeah.
2 stone Ben, 3 stone Will, something like that, is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It sounds so stupid. I don't ever do stone anymore since Man v Fat, because everything's in kilos.
Yeah.
So I just work it on kilos.
Yeah.
But when you put it into stone, it changes your outlook so much more. When you say 2-3 stone, you're like, bloody hell, that's a lot. When you say 15 kilo, it doesn't really have that same effect. There's that mentality switch, I guess, as well, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I'd agree on that. And kind of flip between the two, I think, at the moment. It's like week to week, it's in kilos is what I'm looking at. But when I'm looking at a grand total, I'll always revert back to stone, because that sounds more grand, I guess, doesn't it? So,
yeah. I think it's whatever motivates you, isn't it? And if it gets you that feel-good feeling and keeps you going,
yeah,
I think whatever it is.
No, definitely. And what changes have you sort of found since losing weight?
So for me, I think what I found is, so I've got like a garage that I've got a gym in. I've been able to, so I've got a treadmill in there, so I'm able to go further on the treadmill. I'm able to lift more. I think as well, like just being able to sort of fit into my clothes, not feel like that baggy, horrible feeling. Just feel a bit more confident. And on the pitch as well, I feel like I can. So I was a sub this week, and I managed to play kind of 45 minutes of football, which, you know, before I wouldn't have been able to have done. I've played a couple of things aside from Man v Fat, because they've got obviously the 11s teams as well. So I've just found that my fitness is just increasing. So I try and do a K. I've done a couple of 10Ks as well now, and I'm aiming for a half marathon next year. So I'm also planning on doing high rocks. So all of those things that you think like a year ago, there's no way I'd be planning to do any of those things, or I'd be planning to do it, but then not like go, yeah, I could do that, but then not do it because I much prefer to get a kebab or something. So yeah, I think that for me has been like the key is you start to see it feel it in your clothes. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I bought this last year. It didn't quite fit. Now, actually, this looks quite nice. I can say to myself, actually, you look quite good today. Like, yeah, own it.
That high rocks, that's when you know you're quite fit. That's tough, isn't it? That's getting really big as well. Lots of people getting into that now, aren't they?
Yeah, my brother-in-law did it last month before maybe, and he said like, let's do it. And I was like, okay, yeah. So it's December, so I've got something to aim for now. But for me, it's just, so I go in the gym, I've got my set routine. I do sort of push-pull leg in the gym. I do a couple of runs a week, and that's kind of me. Like I can keep that sort of going. But this is now going to motivate me sort of, I don't know, August time to get and go into the gym and do something a bit different, because obviously you're going to be doing burpees, sled pulls, sled pushes, things like that. So it's just a different kind of exercise for me to get me out of that sort of that mundane, sort of monotonous, kind of repetitive sessions. I love it. I love going in the gym and just chucking around some weights, but I think just to try something else would be great.
Well, you're ignorant, but what is high rock? I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it is.
So you do K, but between each kilometre, you have to do like whether it's you're chucking one of those weighted balls, I forgot what they're called now, weighted balls in. That's it, yeah, into the air, or whether you're doing some burpees, or whether you're push a sled and pull a sled and weighted ones, or all sorts of like different things like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's just kind of a bit more fitness orientated than just sort of pushing weights.
I actually about 3 years ago now, I produced a podcast with some world champions of high rocks that I think it was when they had the one in Las Vegas. But from speaking to them, what they loved about it is it's like an all-round fitness thing. So you have to be cardio, it has to be well up there. your strength has to be well up there. So if you train for high rocks, you're getting a real good all-round level of fitness. Right, whereas obviously, bodybuilding has certain benefits, not others, and stuff. So yeah, we should do an episode on high rocks actually, Mark, because it's the sort of thing I think that's just really growing. But also a lot of people, like a lot of my gym instructor friends, if you like, they're all doing it now. That I think it's seen now as just a great thing to train for that all-round fitness. The big fellas high rocks team is coming. I can feel it.
Count you both in, yeah.
I'm in.
I don't know if you know, I've been very quiet throughout this part. Maybe next year for me. Definitely not this year. Yeah.
What's really funny about
6
Ben?
months behind.
So I made a deal with Ben. I think we was in the pub again for this actually, having a few pints.
Best things
Yeah.
happen.
And I said to him, okay, right, I want to, let's aim for like a 10K in December. So try and give him something to aim for, because we went on another podcast about running, and he was meant to do a bleep test. This was about a year ago. Still hasn't done the bleep test. So I thought, right, let's build him up for it. Let's build him up, see whether he can get him to a sort of like a 5-10K over the next sort of, what was it? It must have been about 8 months when we was talking about this. So he said he was a bit dubious about this 10K. And then, like, within a week, he'd signed up to do a half marathon in March. And I'm like, how is this possible? How have you done this? What's going on?
Just to clarify, it's not guaranteed that I'm going to get in. It's a ballot. So what I do is I have this thing. I always like to have something to aim for, have a target. It gives you something to work towards, and you can focus on it a little bit more. But what I also do is I forget about these things a lot. So then I'll get the email and say, congratulations, you're in the London Landmarks half marathon. I go, shit, what do I do now? And I'll just ring up Will. I'm like, right, can you help train me? Like, we need to go out running like 6 days a week here. Eventually, I do tend to do these things. I might not be
definitely, you will do it, yeah.
Then, but I'll always, whatever I sign up to do, I will generally do. So I just feel like I have to force myself out there. Exactly, it's taking part that counts.
That's it. Yes, it. And I remember my last sort of endurance challenge. I did the Ben Nevis challenge, which was climbing Ben Nevis and then cycling about 25k cycle ride, and then it's a 2k row across a lake, or a loch, sorry, because it was in Scotland. And that was brutal. And it was all I say. And bringing it back to football, I mean, there's lots of teams doing it in that, and we were tracking our way up and down, and there was a group near us, and they were Ipswich fans. And so I got to the end, and it was like the last bit, and I thought, I'm not letting them beat me. So for the last 2k on the bike, I absolutely thrashed it, and thought, I'm getting back before them. My life depends on it.
I don't know whether it's a male thing or whether it's just that competitive sport thing, but if there's someone there, and especially with football, if it's a rival fan, like if we saw Tottenham fans were winning a race, guarantee I'd beat Will in a race. There's no way I'm going to let a Spurs fan beat me. Like, I'm like 19 stone, but there's no way I'm going to let like this 13 stone Spurs fan beat me. Guarantee I'll run quicker, because it's just that mentality, isn't it? You just can't have that.
That's
no matter what. It's like, can you imagine, Darren, an Everton fan running past you?
I think what we need to do is set up a bleep test between you and a Spurs fan and see who can go the longest.
Yes.
Try it. That's the only way I'll probably end up doing it.
Yeah, level 15. He's still going. David Beckham. Yeah, mate, I fucking hate bleep tests, but I totally get what you're saying. Yeah, there's that thing, isn't there, in us that's just like, you'll definitely run a lot harder, and you'll be puking when you finish if you don't do it.
%. I mean, to be fair, when we first started Man v Fat, going to goal, we used to do 5-a-side, reasonably regularly, and then we sort of lost a lot of our members. Obviously, the natural drop off happens, and we spoke to Richard from Man v Fat and decided, let's just give it a go. Help us lose a bit of weight. So I dragged Will initially to sign up, and it's benefited him massively as well as myself. But I remember the first couple of games, like we joined in the summer, so it's similar to the weather now. It's boiling hot. And after, I'm sitting there, like, the next day I'm aching, but that night I feel like I'm going to be sick, especially if you've had not the best weeks. Obviously, you wait until weigh-in, then have your dinner and things. You think, I'm just done. And then now, as you can tell the fitness has got better. I could do a couple of games, our game and then sub. Obviously, as a goalie, you tend to play the whole game. So it's more beneficial for us, Mark, isn't it, really? We don't have to worry about chopping and changing and things. But all of a sudden you do find like, oh, I feel sick. But then you're against a team that are like next to you in the league, or you've got to beat them to win. All of a sudden your level just steps up.
Do you feel like as a goalkeeper, though, that you're not getting the same level of workout as, say, Will is on the pitch running up and down that?
Yes, for the most part, but I do feel it's a different type of workout. You know, I guess if you want to compare it to higher rocks, I'm doing almost the burpees, the star jumps and stuff. I'm up and down constantly. And I'm not saying, guys on pitch do less. It's a different type of exercise. I couldn't run up and down for half an hour. I can't even do a bleep test, lads, let alone run up and down for half an hour. But in goal, I don't think there's many people that could probably go in goal for half an hour, jumping up and down, flailing your arms about. You've got to spring up quickly. If you're powering it to one side or something, you've got to be up. You've got to be alert straight away, because as soon as that ball's out the area again, someone's booting at you as hard as they possibly can. And they don't care if it hits you in the face. They want to score a goal. So you're hurting your wrists, you're hurting your shoulders. I mean, I've been hit in the face numerous times. It's like floored me. I think, oh, God.
I've had that before.
But you've got to get up, don't you? You can't, like, none of your team are going to go, oh, sorry, mate, I'll go in goal. Of course they're not going to go in goal. So you just get up and get on with it.
That's how I broke
Last
my wrist,
season.
mate, in goal. Yeah.
I think last season I had a triple save, and it was can't remember, two regular stops. Well, first one stop, get back up, stop. Third stop, straight in the face, and boom, I'm on the floor. And then the other team's still trying to score, and then it was like, whoa, come on, let him get up, give him a moment.
Exactly. And the ref's just like, fair play. When the ref says after, great gamekeeper, honestly, that's the best fucking crown you could ever have, isn't it? You're like, cheers.
I like it's when the other team is giving it, saying, well done. When the other team is saying, well, good saves, mate. You're like, you've done all right here. So.
100%. Yeah, definitely. I think it's a different type of win as a goalie.
Yeah.
If you keep a clean sheet and your team are like, fuck me, mate, that was a really good game. It does fill you with confidence, and you think, I've made an effort. I've done something good for the people on the pitch. But if you're on the pitch, if you're not scoring a goal, it's quite hard to feel like you've made an impact sometimes, I guess. I know, Will, you've been annoyed sometimes if you've had a couple of shots that have gone a bit wayward, or the goalie's been, on top form or whatever. You come back feeling a bit disheartened. But if you've been in defence and you've stopped 5 or 6 easily going to be like goalward shots, that's a massive achievement as well.
So what's the sort of weight loss goal then going forward? Where are you at?
For me personally, so this season, I'm aiming for 10 to 15 kilos, which is massive. I'm starting the gym again properly. I'm going out running again. I feel like I'm in a better headspace now. It's been a bit of an up and down year for me personally, but now I feel like I'm kind of there or thereabouts. We won the league as well, so it spurs you on again. And the team have been brilliant for me. So 10 to 15 kilos is kind of my personal target.
Yeah, I think the same. I've got sort of 10 kilo till I hit BMI, roughly, maybe 9 now. So I think if I can sort of lose between 10 and 12 kilo by sort of Christmas time, ready for that high rocks, and be in BMI for then, I think I'll be really happy. And then I think for me, thinking I've hit BMI, I'll probably just sort of ditch Man Be Fat, because what's the point? But actually, since being there for sort of the last sort of 11, 12 months, I understand now that hitting BMI, and this is what I did a few years ago, when you get there, staying there is actually the hardest thing. Getting there is relatively easy. Staying there, it's not easy. What am I talking about? But in comparison to sort of keeping into BMI, it's really tough. So I think I might stick it out actually for a little bit longer and try and maintain BMI for as long as I can.
Definitely. And I think you need players that have hit BMI to be in the league, just to be that inspiration to the other players, saying, look, this can be done. You can do it. And there's been players in our league, one lad he's always smashing the weight loss scores. And I look at him and he looks skinny as a rake. And I'm thinking, you shouldn't be here. You're a cheat code. What's going on? In fairness, I got to know him in the last sort of year or so, and he showed me like his starting pictures, and I'm like, bloody hell! There's no way I'd even realise that was you. And it's just like, it shows if you do get at it and everything, what can be achieved. And so it is important to have those sort of BMI losers there to just sort of push on the next group of lads, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think those before and after pictures are really value. Like, you see it. Like, we've got a guy on our team who you think there's no way. Oh, actually, you've got 2 guys. There's no way you should be here. What are you talking about? And then you see their before pictures and you're like, oh my God, you have done absolutely incredible. This is what I want to aim for.
That's it. And yeah, I think that's a good advert for Man v Fat. And remember, there's a discount code there if anyone wants it. Big fellas, please use it. But I think that's probably a good point to wrap it up, don't you, Darren?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for coming on, boys. It's been great. And yeah, good luck with your, next 10 odd kilos next season. And good luck with your high ox reel.
Thank you.
Don't envy you having to do that, having seen sort of what it is. But great, good for you.
Thanks very much for having us.
Thanks for having us, guys. Cheers.